Well, hello there. It's Farmin FriYay brought to us by our friends at Farm Credit Mid America. They help people with their farming operations, and it might be something as simple as farming in your backyard. Maybe you need some seed. Maybe you need a new tiller. Maybe you need a tractor. Maybe you just need something to kind of help you get all your fencing done. They are your financer, and you are a member. You're not a client, you're a member of an organization that gives you cash back, that gives you an ATM card to use on those purchases. It's an incredible organization. And if you kind of want to get more homestead savvy, you check with your friends at Farm Credit, e-farmcredit.com. The letter E, dash farmcredit.com. They're bringing us our show today, and we're going to be talking about a lot of things, including we're going to visit with a dear friend of mine. His name is Dallas Wayne. We got to tape him yesterday because he was in between things. We're going to talk about the wonderful Dottie West extravaganza. We celebrate Dottie West's birthday. It's the fourth annual chance to celebrate Dottie West's birthday, and Dallas Wayne joins us.
Bubbly water doodads, but they make you burp.
I know that my broadcasting buddy Dallas Wayne is with us, and we're all talking about our cuppas. You know, I know those bubbly waters are awesome, but bubbly and LaCroix, it's great, but they do, you know, if you're doing it right for a voiceover, you better.
They'll get you at the most inopportune times.
I know. Can you burp the alphabet?
Till about D, and then I get out of breath. So it's
that's great. We're here talking about our buddy Dottie West, and Jeannie Seeley has been one of the pioneers of celebrating her friend Dottie for a long, long, long time. And you jump right in there, and you're part of this collective. It's one of the best shows I ever go to. It feels like a family reunion, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. And it's the highlight of my year for shows in Nashville to do, because there's so much love in the room for not only Dottie, but also for the artists that we typically acknowledge and feature at that point. And this year it's going to be none other than the great Charlie McCoy.
Oh, my goodness. Charlie McCoy, one of the newest members of the Grand Ole Opry, too.
I saw something funny the other night. I was visiting with Charlie backstage at the Opry, and Don Schlitz walks in, and he says,
another new member of the Opry.
He says, "Hello, second newest member of the Grand Ole Opry." That was lovely. It was great.
That's wonderful. I'm glad to see songwriters go into the Opry family.
I am too. I'm real excited about all the inductions of late. They're all people that are going to serve the Opry well in the future. So it's just a wonderful thing with Mandy Barnett going in, Jamie Johnson going in, Don and Charlie McCoy. It's going to be great.
The Isaacs. Oh. The Isaacs. Oh, do you not think that's what heaven sounds like?
It's a shame those poor folks can't sing. It's just terrible.
I know, right?
Every time I hear them, I cry, and
I do too.
They could sing "Row, Row, Row Your Boat," and I'd start in a bawling. I think probably if I was listening to it.
It's just that's what good music does. And people ask me all the time about my songwriting and all that other stuff, but broadcasting and songwriting has always been your thing too. But you do it. I think we're simpatico in this. You do all of the other stuff because you're a fan of the music. You just have always been a fan of the music.
Well, I started out, for 40 years, I didn't do anything but play and sing and write. And then I backed into this radio thing 17 years ago. I find that hard to believe. And so you're wearing both hats all the time. But as you know, when we sit there and listen to all this great music that we play every day on the radio or whatever, it inspires you to write. My biggest drawback is like, I play a great Hank Cochran song or a Harlan Howard song. Well, I can't write that. I might as well just put this pencil down.
Oh, don't you ever put your pencil down. Jeff Hogue and I were talking about Jeff Hogue, who just hosted the Midnight Jamboree's return. And you and he got to sit down and have a sit down at the beginning of the show. And we were bragging on you.
Oh, he's such a nice guy, and I'm so glad he took that position, and I think that show the legacy that Eddie left, that show is in good hands with Jeff.
I absolutely am thrilled to pieces about that as well. But let's talk a little bit about the Dottie West Birthday Bash. It's going to be October 11th, the fourth annual. And is it going to be held at 3rd and Lindsley again?
It'll be at 3rd and Lindsley. They've been gracious enough to open up their doors for this thing every year, and it's one of the premier places in Nashville to see and do a show, I might add. It's going to be great. The whole vibe of this thing is always so good because it benefits the Music Health Alliance, which is really something special for musicians' healthcare there in Nashville. And every year people just come out and want to be on this bill, and boy, there's a good one this year.
Oh, so who are some of the people on the bill?
Well, of course, we got Jeannie Seeley. She's going to be on too, obviously. Charlie McCoy, we're honoring him this year. Ray Stevens and Brenda Lee, Country Music Hall of Famer, is going to be there. This is exciting stuff. Yes. And Rhonda Vincent, Mandy Barnett, John Schneider, Heidi Neufeld, Tim Atwood, Kenna West, Tess Frizzell, Bobby Tomberlin, and they say they might throw a special guest or two in there. And then I'll be there warbling my noise as well. But it's going to be a great night.
Dallas, you're fantastic. When Kenna West sang the last show, I was sitting there in the balcony, and I was kind of overtaken because sometimes she just started singing, and I don't know whether it was the fact she had red hair, that she was there, and it was just like, I just felt Dottie was like walked in the room, and I just started squalling. I know.
It was a heck of a moment, wasn't it?
It was. I just about lost it because Dottie was dear to me. I just wanted to be her. She was such a styling lady, but come to find out, she would cook for all the songwriters and the new artists that were coming to town. She just, everybody would go to Dottie's house and she'd cook breakfast, and, she was such a lady,
She was, and that's also probably a pretty smart way to get some of the great songs from some of the writers in town too, as well. Feed them real good and let them pitch your songs.
Isn't that the truth? Well, I want everybody to get their ticket to go see. It's October 4th at 3rd and Lindsley, the Dottie West Birthday Bash. It is literally, there will be moments that will not be repeatable ever. You have to be there in that moment to really experience it.
It's going to be a wonderful time. We hope that people will join us.
Well, Dallas, you're on Sirius XM Radio, and let's talk about what you're going to be spending your time doing at Farm Aid.
Well, once again, this year we'll be bringing you Farm Aid on Willie's Roadhouse, Willie's channel. Also simulcast this year on the Dave Matthews Band channel, because Dave, of course, is one of the board of directors of Farm Aid. Willie is the president, and Dave has been there since. Well, I guess if you take John Mellencamp and Neil Young, Dave Matthews is the newbie on that one. But we have a new newbie this year. Last year, the first female artist to be on the board of directors of Farm Aid is Margot Price, which is really cool.
Oh, that is very cool.
Yes.
Oh,
Margot started doing Farm Aid, I guess, a half dozen years ago, maybe. She's been there every year since. She is a true Midwest farmer's daughter. In fact, she tells a story about her first Farm Aid. Her parents had lost their farm in Illinois, and they couldn't afford to get tickets to the show, but they drove in and were in the parking lot listening to Farm Aid that was her first exposure to it years ago when she was a small girl. It's a great story, and she's a perfect ambassador for Farm Aid.
Well, that just brought tears. That just really got me because our farmers, I come from a farming family, and soybeans and cotton and row crops and cattle. And